Good evening. Welcome to Night Talk. I'm Prentice, your host, and tonight's topic is nice to meet you after all these years. Who are you, and where did you come from? All right. Well, it seems there are many people now on the internet discussing the possibility of, I'm just going to say it, aliens in human form. What's up with all of that? I'm just saying, we have people that are very well educated from some of the most prestigious colleges around the world, all on the same ticket, saying the same things. We have been infiltrated. The person you're looking at on your television station may not really be who you're looking at. The guy driving the police car in your friendly neighborhood may not be your friendly neighborhood policeman. Hey, I'm not making this up. Go ask Dan Aykroyd. He's got a couple of shows on YouTube telling all about the men in black and what he knows about them to be true. Dan is very convinced that the men in black are real. They live among us, and we have never been alone. Now, I want to just kind of drop a name, Paul Hellyer. I'm not sure if very many of you listening tonight know the name Paul Hellyer. Now, back in 2013, Paul Hellyer met with heads of state. He met with the Trilateral Commission. He met with President Obama. He met with different presidents from different countries. And the reason Paul Hellyer was able to do this and discuss the UFO problem is simply because Paul Hellyer, he held the title of Canadian Minister of Defense. Now that rates very high, very high on the who's who and who's in the know when it comes to exposing the alien agenda here on the planet Earth. Our very own planet, the only planet that we can survive on. We not only have Paul Hellyer coming forward, but we have others. We've got Stephen Hawking. He firmly believes we are not alone. Now, Stephen, if you do not know who Stephen Hawking is one of the most respected and listened to person in the whole world. All the scientists in the world, all the people that think they are in the know, when Stephen talks, they all shut up and listen. Stephen Hawking is a professor at Cambridge University. Stephen is responsible for the movies Into the Universe, A Brief History of Time, Brand New World, and many others. Night Talk. Hey, don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Okay, back again, round two. I was talking about Stephen Hawking a while ago before we left off. I still want to continue with the fact when NASA officials came to Stephen and asked the question, should we continue probing and sending other probes out into space further and further away, further than we have ever been before? And Stephen simply replied, when you're alone in the jungle, you do not scream out. You do not cry out, because something will hear you eventually. And that something will most likely admire you for the meal you are presenting. On March the 5th of 2004, the Mexican government has a video posted on YouTube. Now, Mexico, they are releasing so many UFO files. The Mexican government wants to expose the truth about the UFO cover-up and the agenda behind the whole thing to the world. Every government around the world is waiting on the United States government to say, okay, they're here. We cannot handle the situation. The United States is not and has never been militarily geared to handle anything like this. We don't know what to do about it. We're under their control. They tell us what to do. Nobody's doing anything. unless the Queen of England tells us we can do something. A lot of people are under the false impression that the United States of America is a free nation. You know, we're on our own. We rule the world. We don't rule the world. We take our marching orders from the Queen of England. All the banks that control all the monies originate from England. Yes, the rich families of the world that own 60 to 75% of everything all live in the country of, you guessed it, jolly old England. These families own the banks that print your money. Get that through your head. Unless the Queen says it's a go, it's never going to happen. There will never be exposure of the UFO problem in the world. And I'm not so sure there needs to be exposure. I mean, people may decide to just start offing themselves in massive numbers because they won't be able to comprehend or live with the fact that we are not alone. Night Talk, where I talk about everything you never thought about. Stay tuned. Night Talk. Thank you for returning with me. I'm your host, Prentice, and I sincerely hope you are enjoying the program this afternoon. Well, a lot of people have told me, and I've heard so many stories from people all across the United States of how they've seen weird things that they cannot explain in the sky, in the daylight, and in the nighttime. That's one reason why I wanted to do this show, because back in April 2015, I like to sit outside at night when we have the beautiful stars shining all across the heavens. I like to sit on the tailgate of my truck out in the country and just look up at the stars at night, and the sky is just so full of wonder and so much beauty. It possesses way more beauty than anyone living in a city area will ever see, unless they get out from under the city lights and go out into the country where you don't have all that interference, the ground lighting interference. You need to be able to see the stars and see the heavens to really appreciate what we have. Now, I was saying in April of 2015, I was sitting on the tailgate of my truck, and I noticed this small airplane. It was probably around 10 o'clock at night, 10:30 p.m. Small airplane was going towards the west, and I noticed this light, this ball of light came in from the east very fast, just a streak of light. Boom, it was there. And it stops about maybe a mile to a mile and a half in front of this small plane. It just sits there, and it's not trying to go anywhere. It's just sitting there. I'm watching the plane getting closer and closer and closer, and I'm thinking, I fly too. How come he isn't diverting around this light? It's, he's going to hit it head on. The pilot needs to wake up. I don't know what's going on, but surely he can see this great big light just sitting there right in front of the plane. It's not moving. It's not going anywhere. It's just sitting there. Well, the plane continues getting closer and closer, and I'm watching from the tailgate of my truck. Now, there's probably only a quarter of a mile between this light and this small aircraft. All of a sudden, this light took off, just a blur, just took off. The thing went so fast, I could see blocks of light all the way across the sky where it outran its own light. It went that fast. That blew me away. Night Talk Radio, where I talk about everything you never thought about. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Night Talk. Let me just refresh your memories. On February the 14th, 2013, Russia had a meteor fall from space. It was so big. It was just huge. It was bigger than like a football field, but yet it blew up not even a mile off the surface of the earth. Now, by all rights, this meteor should have hit the earth. There was nothing to stop it, nothing in its way. Then all at once, boom, a sonic blast, and the meteor shatters into millions of tiny pieces and peppers the ground for miles around. Now, if this meteor had have hit, the devastation would be way, way more advanced than anybody is prepared to see. Yes, we do have guardian angels watching over us. It's just that simple. I watched a video that was put online, and I watched more than one video of the incident that happened in Russia where the meteorite was blown up. You can clearly see a craft entering the frame. The meteorite blows up and the craft is leaving the frame going in an opposite direction. Now, whoever or whatever is in control of these flying saucers came in, blew this meteor up, and left without hanging around for a big old thank you. I do believe there are others who we know nothing about. You know, don't take my word for this. Go and listen to astronaut Gordon Cooper's testimony. Go listen to astronaut Buzz Aldrin, the Apollo 11 mission. Let him tell you about the UFO people. Neil Armstrong, Gordon Cooper, and Edgar Mitchell, astronauts, world famous, been to the moon, been out in space. All three guys that I just named and many others have all given testimony under oath. We are not alone, and this planet is and has been being visited by off-world entities for as long as man has walked upon the earth, and many, many long thousands of years before. Before I cut this show off tonight and we all go our separate ways, I also want to mention that the Pope has now come forward and saying if there were, and he's pretty sure there is, extraterrestrial brothers and sisters in the heavens floating around, the Pope stated that he would be more than happy to baptize them. I don't think a baptism is the big concern with the off-planet entities that are visiting our Earth. Now, in closing, one last thing I would like to say to the Christians, the Muslims, the Catholics, the Baptists, the every kind of organization you can think of that man has hung a name on in the name of biblical translation or biblical knowledge. Let's not forget in the Bible Ezekiel's wheel. Ezekiel 10:9 in the Holy Bible says, and I quote, "And when I looked, behold, the 4 wheels by the cherubims, one wheel by one cherubim, and another wheel by another cherubim. And the appearance of the wheels was as the color of beryl stone." Now this is a wheel from the sky turning round about, and Ezekiel wrote it down as he saw it, and now you have it in your biblical text. We all may be very surprised if one day, very soon, your government releases the facts and all the information pertaining to the truth about the ET population on the planet Earth. Night Talk Radio, thank you very much for joining. Have a great evening and good night. Night Talk, where I talk about everything you never thought about.